superfoods, I'm going to ask you a question. I hope you can answer this.
Okay.
Why is sauerkraut the new superfood?
Sauerkraut's a new superfood because it's wonderful. You get a spoonful of sauerkraut delivers trillions of probiotics and enzymes, which are just so powerfully anti-cancer. So our gut health is the centre of our immune system. 80% of our immune cells are in our gut. So looking after the healthy bacteria there is just so important for whatever you're dealing with, you know, digestion, you know, stress, any you know, immune sort of problem, which cancer of course is. I came across an interesting article recently though from the University of Michigan, and it was showing that healthy bacteria can help you get through chemo. And I think the article was titled "Gut Reaction: Mice Survive Lethal Doses of Chemotherapy." And they're talking about how important this healthy bacteria is.
Wow.
So great for people going through chemotherapy, great for anyone. I mean, I have a lot of people that come to me and they get bloated all the time. They've got digestive issues. And they might have cut out dairy, they might have cut out gluten, but they're still sitting at their desk getting that horrible bloated feeling. And so often it's because of a lack of enzymes in their diet and too much stress.
Yeah.
But so having, you know, say, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or a scoop of sauerkraut before you start eating gets those digestive juices flowing.
So that's that's something that can be really practical for everybody that's watching this is, you know, sometimes you can go to buy enzymes or probiotics, very expensive. But you can make it on the cheap with sauerkraut. So explain to somebody real quick how they might make some sauerkraut that has all of these enzymes and probiotics.
Okay.
Where they live. Now, number 6, immune support. So the lactic acid kills off and makes it very unfriendly for the unfriendly bacteria. So it helps defend you against unfriendly microbes. Okay? Supports leaky gut. So if you have little holes in your digestive system that are damaged, this is very, very important, healing that whole system and supporting that. So these microbes will help heal that leaky gut. Number 8, increasing metabolism in general. If you have a slow metabolism and you have poor digestion, you're not going to lose weight. So it just so happens that these microbes actually do stimulate your metabolism, which is very, very cool. I'll have people that will start to eat certain foods that help their digestion and start losing weight all the time from a digestive angle, not to stimulate the glands, but from a digestive point of view. So our kimchi, which is a fermented spicy cabbage from Korea, and there's other countries also, but pickles, very, very beneficial in the lactic acid, and sauerkraut. So this is basically a very inexpensive probiotic. I think that these foods are actually much more powerful than taking a probiotic.
I'm a fan of sauerkraut, but this one I could eat all day. Now, probiotic foods like this have been shown to help reduce the risk of just about every major acute or chronic illness that there is. In fact, the Journal of Applied Microbiology states that probiotic benefits from cultured foods like this include lowering the risk of brain disorders from mental illness, mood disorders like depression and anxiety, cancer, asthma, food allergies and sensitivities, diabetes. It helps against weight gain and various autoimmune diseases. Now, good bacteria from foods like this can help your brain, hormones, all of your organs, and it can also help to improve the function of your immunity, digestion, and control inflammation. So it's worth the 10 minutes it's going to take to make this. I mean, what more could you want? The exact measurements are 3 tablespoons per 5 pounds of cabbage. And just don't use table salt. It's terrible for you and it won't work. Now, you also need a mason jar, and if you need extra brine or basically salted water, you're going to use 1 tablespoon of sea salt per 4 cups of pure water. It has to be filtered. And just for fun and a little more flavor, I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic. Now start by removing any outer bits so the salt can get the liquid out. Then just mash this down or knead or press it. Let it sit for another 10 minutes. I'm actually using the mason jar to do this because it has the most surface area. While you're doing this, you're making the brine that we need because the water comes out of the cabbage. And add the garlic if you're putting that in as well.
Put that lid on there. And snug it down good.
Make sure it threads on good. Okay, the water is up to a boil, so we're going to go ahead and get our jars into the water bath. Alright, let's see if that last jar will fit in there now. Oh, it's going to be close, but it made it. Okay, these jars have been in the water bath.
It's critical for a safe fermentation. Salt provides the right environment for the fermenting organisms so that the ferment proceeds as it should be and you end up with a safe to eat product. If you use less salt, it doesn't inhibit spoiling organisms, and so your ferment may go wrong. So salt is very important. However, the right kind of salt is very important as well. You don't want to use conventional grocery store iodized table salt. That's not a whole food. It's been chemically changed. There's no minerals, and our body's regarded as poison, and it doesn't help the ferment. On the other hand, you want to get a real salt, an unrefined sea salt. One example is real salt from Redmond. There's others out there like Himalayan sea salt or Celtic sea salt. These are unrefined. They have lots of color. That's how you know them, pinks and browns and oranges and reds. So look for your real salt and keep fermenting with it.
Hi, my name is Barbara Allen. I am author of the book Conquering Arthritis, What Doctors Don't Tell You Because They Don't Know. It's been the #1 best-selling arthritis book on Amazon.com for 8 years running. Today I want to talk with you about fermenting ginger. This is ginger root, and I've just chopped up a whole bunch of it. The reason I want to talk to you is twofold. One is if you ferment it, it becomes a very good source of probiotics. And two,
I would like to talk with you about the Boropiwik protocol and especially about sauerkraut. First of all, too many people are thinking the Boropiwik protocol is just flaxseed oil and cottage cheese and a bit vegetarian diet. But this is far away from what it really is. The Proteus Cato the Elder. This was around 200 years BC. He wrote very much about the healing power of sauerkraut, and believe it or not, he wrote already at that time, carcinomas are incurable except with a treatment with sauerkraut. That's interesting, isn't it? And when the famous sailor James Cook took tons of sauerkraut on his ships in the 18th century, the health benefit of this exceptional cabbage produced by lactic acid fermentation have been already well known. In Germany, hundreds of such studies in my research, and almost all of them report positive effects, which play an important role in oncological research today. Also, the high content of the sulfur-containing indole 3-carbinol, which can play an important role, for example, in breast cancer, in cervical cancer, and of course also in prostate cancer. We know today that indole 3-carbinol converts estrogens or has a big influence at the cycle of the so-called G1 receptor of a cancer cell. I could write a whole book only about these positive researches.
Before. Awesome. I'm curious, who here has fermented maybe sauerkraut or lacto-fermented vegetables? What about kombucha? Or kefir? Yogurt? Awesome. Anybody made bread? All right, perfect. Okay, so on my Guts and Glory podcast at summerbach.com, I ask my guests, what do you think is the main cause for the decline in gut health worldwide right now? And I've spent years really looking at this subject myself. I run various programs in my company. I teach people all about gut rebuilding. I talk to them about how to get friendly bacteria to grow in your body and get rid of yeasts and bad bacteria. I also run a probiotic power cleanse, and this is a 10-day food-based cleanse. It's really easy. It's just like a simple way to
that will give you tons of probiotics and all the nutrients in a raw living sauerkraut. Okay, first thing you need is a cabbage. Sea salt. This has to be very good salt. It has to be sea or rock salt or pink Himalayan salt, not table salt. We need real salt. Okay. And then at this stage we just want to massage the cabbage and the salt together. And what we want to start seeing, just from the juice of the cabbage, we're not going to add any water, just going to create a brine from the cabbage. So we're going to add, I'm going to add a bit of pak choy because I currently have some. You can use pretty much any vegetable at all that you have available. Really great seasonal. We're pushing all of the air out. So to fill the jar up, it looks like I'm going to have to chop some more. What that's going to do is when we've put our lid on, you can see there's a slight bit of pressure and it's just going to bring that brine up. There's going to be more brine as the time, in about 24 hours this brine level will have risen, the salt will have completely dissolved and this brine level will be up above the veg that we've chopped, keeping it in a saline anaerobic environment where the lactic acid will thrive. And in 3 to 5 days this will be living. You can see it start to bubble, the colour will start to change, and you need to just really keep an eye on that level of brine. If the chopped cabbage is submerged in brine, you're good. If it starts to look a little bit dry, just add a little bit of unchlorinated water just to keep that level of the brine up above the cabbage, above the chopped cabbage. Day 5, start tasting it. See if it's yummy, see if you like it, see if it's crunchy, see if it's tangy, see if it's got some sourness. And at that point you can then put it in the fridge and it will last for weeks and you can eat it with everything. Eggs, cheese on toast, soup, baked potatoes, have it with everything. That's it.
Indigo House, Acetaia. The best. Good acidity, not too much, and euros for a litre. Giovanni and Fabio fill the smallest barrel with vinegar from the second smallest.
To check its colour and viscosity.